mind set on you. I got my mind set on you.
What do a potato with plastic features, a Rubik's Cube, and a talking bear have in common? They are all toys that defined a decade, leaving a legacy of joy and nostalgia. From the 1950s to the 1980s, Christmas mornings weren't just about unwrapping presents, they were moments of magic. They weren't just toys, they were experiences that shaped childhoods, brought families together, and turned into cultural icons of their time. Today, we're diving into the golden age of holiday wish lists, celebrating the retro toys that made Christmas mornings unforgettable. So, buckle up for a journey through the decades as we rediscover the treasures that topped wish lists and created lifelong memories. The 1950s. A sparkling start to the toy boom. The post-war 1950s brought economic prosperity and a booming population of baby boomers. As television became a household staple, toy companies capitalized on it to turn their creations into household names. The decade kicked off with the launch of Mr. Potato Head in 1952. It was a toy unlike anything children had seen before. Instead of a doll or a car, kids could stick plastic eyes, noses, and hats onto a real potato to create their own silly characters. The tactile experience of building a face, complete with goofy grins and mismatched features, was pure delight. Its success was boosted by being the first toy ever advertised on television, forever changing how toys were marketed. Then we had Silly Putty. For kids who love tactile fun, Silly Putty was irresistible. This stretchy, bouncy, and moldable substance offered endless possibilities. You could flatten it to copy comic strips from the Sunday paper, or roll it into a ball to bounce off walls. They were small, affordable, and endlessly entertaining. That's why they became a go-to stocking stuffer. Budding builders found their dreams come true with Tonka trucks, which were released in 1955. Built to last with heavy-duty metal, these trucks weren't just simple toys, they were built for adventure. Whether hauling dirt in the backyard or conquering imaginary construction sites, they symbolized rugged fun and exploration for the kids. And for the youngest of the bunch, Fisher-Price's Corn Popper in 1957 turned learning to walk into a lively game. Brightly colored balls popped and clattered inside a clear dome as toddlers pushed it along. Its cheerful sound was music to little ears, and perhaps a test of patience for parents. The 1960s. Creativity and imagination take center stage. The 1960s ushered in a wave of innovation, with toys that encouraged creativity, storytelling, and interactive play. It was a time when children's imaginations took the lead. In 1964, G.I. Joe broke new ground by introducing boys to a world of adventure. The manufacturers cleverly branded it to show it wasn't just a doll, it was an action figure. G.I. Joe came with detailed uniforms, realistic weapons, and movable joints, which allowed kids to send him on daring missions in jungles, deserts, and battlefields. Meanwhile, in 1960, Chatty Cathy captured the hearts of children with her voice. When you pulled her string, she'd say phrases like, "Let's play house," or "Please brush my hair." The interactive element made her feel like more than a doll. She was a friend for the kids. For the artistically inclined kids, Light Bright offered a way to make glowing masterpieces. This launched in 1967 and was one of a kind when it comes to creative toys. Kids inserted colorful pegs into a black, light-up board to create everything from flowers to animals. This toy was a great aid in getting your kids' creative juices flowing. And in 1968, we saw the rise of the ever-favorite Hot Wheels toy cars. It won't be an exaggeration to say that this lineup brought an actual revolution in toy cars. The original 16 models featured a variety of cars from custom Camaros to Corvettes. These miniature vehicles were sleek, colorful, and lightning fast. They raced along customizable tracks, complete with loops and jumps. Kids could build and rebuild their own courses, which fueled endless hours of imaginative play for them. The 1970s, the era of family fun and pop culture. The 1970s were a golden age for toys that brought families together and toys inspired by the growing influence of pop culture. This was the decade when toy companies began to see the potential in creating experiences that were fun for the whole family or tied directly to blockbuster franchises. The Nerf ball of the 1970s was a true revolution in play. Dubbed the world's first indoor ball, it was made of soft foam that was virtually indestructible and safe to throw around inside the house. For parents, it meant fewer broken lamps and windows, and for kids, it meant all-weather fun without restrictions. The Nerf ball turned any space into a playground, whether it was a quick game of catch in the living room or a makeshift basketball match in the hallway. Its simplicity and versatility cemented its status as a must-have toy. But as the decade progressed, no toy captured the spirit of the times like Star Wars action figures in 1977. When Star Wars: A New Hope hit theaters, it became an instant cultural phenomenon, sparking a demand for toys that allowed fans to bring the galaxy far, far away into their own homes. Kenner, the toy company behind the figures, famously underestimated the demand, leading to the now legendary Early Bird Certificate. These certificates promised kids that Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Darth Vader would arrive as soon as they were back in stock, a promise fulfilled for many in 1978. For children, these action figures became an exciting way to recreate the Star Wars battles and relive their favorite moments from the movie. For family game nights, Hungry Hungry Hippos brought chaos and hilarity to 1978. The fast-paced game had players frantically pounding levers to make their hippos chomp down on as many marbles as possible. The frantic, noisy competition often led to giggles and playful banter. It quickly turned into a staple for gatherings. It wasn't uncommon for the game to escalate into dramatic rivalries between siblings or friends. Meanwhile, for the kids with a penchant for sweetness, strawberry shortcake dolls provided a different kind of charm. These dolls somehow weirdly originated from greeting card designs and were irresistibly cute, with bright, fruity scents and cheerful outfits. Each doll represented a unique personality, like Strawberry Shortcake herself, or her friends, Blueberry Muffin and Huckleberry Pie. The dolls became beloved companions for many children and gave them a spark for genuine storytelling. The 1970s proved that toys could do more than entertain. They could bring families closer and tap into the cultural zeitgeist. The 1980s, more tech in toys. The 1980s saw toy marketing reach unprecedented heights, driven by the rise of blockbuster movies, Saturday morning cartoons, and innovative technologies. It was an era of toy crazes and high-energy battles over coveted Christmas gifts, with some toys becoming cultural icons in their own right. At the top of the decade's most memorable toy phenomena were Cabbage Patch Kids, which came out in 1983. They really took the companionship game to the next level with these toys. Each doll came with a unique name and adoption papers, inviting children to adopt their very own baby. This was one cool trick to get more emotional involvement with the dolls, and it surely worked. Parents braved long lines, and news stories of frantic store rushes became part of the cultural fabric of this time. For the lucky children who unwrapped a Cabbage Patch Kid on Christmas morning, they got a new friendship in the form of a toy. On the opposite end of the toy spectrum was the Rubik's Cube. Yes, the simple Rubik's Cube that we all love or hate today. It was a deceptively simple, yet infuriatingly challenging puzzle. Created by Hungarian architect Erno Rubik, this colorful cube became a global sensation with millions sold within its first few years. Whether solved in minutes by prodigies or scrambled endlessly by the rest of us, the Rubik's Cube was not your everyday toy. This thing was a test of patience, logic, and perseverance. It wasn't uncommon to see kids and adults alike puzzling over the cube during car rides, school breaks, or family gatherings. For children who wanted their toys to tell stories, Teddy Ruxpin was a game changer. Released in 1985, this animatronic bear could read stories through cassette tapes, captivating kids with its moving mouth and blinking eyes. The popularity of this toy highlighted the growing trend of merging technology with play, which paved the way for future innovations in interactive toys. And then there was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe action figures in 1982. They combined the excitement of epic battles with the colorful whimsy of fantasy storytelling. These muscular action figures, led by the heroic He-Man and his iconic cry of, "I have the power," allowed kids to stage battles against the villainous Skeletor and his minions. With their bold designs and connections to a hit animated series, these toys became a real phenomenon, sparking playground debates and imaginative adventures. The 1980s proved that toys could be more than objects. They were events, movements, and for many, the ultimate prize under the Christmas tree. Each decade brought its own magic, icons, and memories that shaped the holidays for millions of kids. Which toy from your childhood Christmas still holds a special place in your heart? Share your memories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more trips down memory lane. Thanks for watching, and may your holiday season be merry, bright, and filled with nostalgia.